Hey everyone, I'm Tara. Welcome to A Loop Through a Loop. Here we are at the end of January. I've been gone for quite a while. I had to step away from the podcast for a while because my postpartum depression and anxiety got pretty severe, and I had to take care of myself so then I could take care of everything else. And it got pretty bad. So the good news is that I am still on that journey, but so much better than what I was. And I have come back. I knew I always would come back. I just had to get to the place where I am now, where I feel more like me again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the projects that I finished and some that I've been working on and kind of tell my story as I'm going through those projects. I do have a couple of finished items that I don't have with me because they were gifted. So I did make a couple of muscle burra hats for teachers and my brother. So I don't have those because they have them. And so that's that. I made some muscle burras, so I'm probably going to make them again. So if you don't know what that hat looks like or anything, you can always stay tuned because chances are I will make another one. Or if you tune into another podcast, they've probably also made them. But I would recommend it as good travel knitting, and also good I guess what we choose to work on depends on our state of mind, right? So the hat is just stockinette in the round, lots of stockinette in the round. So for me, that was a project that was really good when my anxiety was kicking in and it was racing, and I was trying to lean into that and deal with that. And I felt like, well, I want to knit, but my brain is still working through all of this. That was a good project to just help me work through that. And I could work on that hat and spend time in prayer or listening to a podcast or something to kind of bring me back into myself. So it's not a project that I would say, if I don't have anything going on and I'm feeling kind of bored, it's not the project that I would pick up. So there's that. The first thing that I want to show you is, I don't know if I've got the camera too close, but I did finish the half and half wrap that I had been working on. This is pretty much the size of the small one. And I started this project back in August, around, late August, and finished this not too long ago. I think I just finished this last week. And this has literally been a knit that has gone through this entire journey with me since my depression, anxiety became severe, and now that I've gone through it. So this has been through that valley, from one side of the valley all the way to the other. This is what I had worked on, and I have someone in mind that I'm going to be sending this to, because I think halfway through the last or the second triangle, so about halfway through, I just kind of had this realization in my heart that this wasn't for me to keep. That this yarn was given to me some time ago, and I was so excited, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have a half wrap that matches my eyes. It's going to be so great. I'm going to love it. And as I was working on it, that was still what I was thinking, until I just felt this really strong conviction that said, this isn't for you. You know who you need to give this to. So I am going to wash and block it and then send it on its way to that person. So like I said, this is this is about the same size as the smaller one. And I did this on the US 3 needles using the recommended yarn and linen quill and True Turquoise, vintage Celadon. It is beautiful. And there is a lot of life that is inside all of these stitches. And it's not all good, but there's healing in here, and the power to overcome is in here, and time, because if you've ever made one of these, you know they take a long time to make. So patience is also in here. There's just so much packed into this. So I'll send that off. I got to wash it and then I'll send that off. And then I also cast on and finished a pair of Ode to Barbara socks designed by Summerly Knits. And this is in some sock yarn from Audine Woods and Florenz that I got from Melissa from Knitting the Stash. She had a D stash, and she basically just, from what I gather, she just wanted to go ahead and pass this on because she had it listed as free. The only thing I had to pay was shipping. And I took that as a sign from God that that's it. You just have to pay $6.50. And there it is. So I made this pair of socks for a member of my family, and I will get these sent off to her. I just followed the pattern exactly as written. So these socks, I have a sorted relationship with sock knitting. It's not my go-to. It's not my source of excitement, shall we say, when I've made them in the past. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I very much liked making these. It wasn't just stockinette in the round, so my brain did not get bored. And I have the lace panel in the center memorized, so I could read the lace pattern pretty easily. It's only 15 stitches. And so there was just enough going on that it's just so good, man. It had what my brain needed at the time, which at the point that I made these, I was feeling more like my brain had started to quiet down a little bit as far as like the anxiety and the depression. I felt more like myself. I could work on these while I was in the car line waiting for the kids at school. I could knit on them when the girls were in dance class and just all kinds of stuff. These hit me at the right spot. And I think that's sometimes what we miss whenever we talk about whether or not we like a pattern or a yarn or whatever, that I know I'm guilty of sometimes saying, oh, well, I don't like that yarn or I don't like that pattern, when really what we're looking for is the pattern and the yarn and the color kind of all coming together, and it's just right. Like, that's what we want. I know that the Frivolous and Frugal podcast, they talk about the trifecta, the perfect yarn, the perfect color, and the perfect pattern all coming together. And I would add to that also the perfect time. So instead of trifecta, I don't know what you call it when it's 4 things. If you know, let me know, teach me, school me. So this was just all of those things: the right yarn, the right color, the right pattern, and the right time. This is just, So those will get sent off, and they fit beautifully. They fit so well. And I have quite a bit here. I don't know what I'm going to do with my leftovers besides put them in my basket of leftovers and then use them on something else, I suppose. The last finished item that I have for you is the Bandana cowl. This is the Bandana cowl is a free pattern that you can find on the Pearl Soho website. I used that pattern as a recipe for kind of how to make my own using DK weight, because that pattern calls for like a bulky Aran or bulky weight yarn. And I don't have any Aran or bulky weight yarn, and at this time, I don't have any interest in working with yarn that thick and needles that thick. It's hard on my hands. I kind of have to be in the right mindset to take that on. So what I did have was some DK yarn. For my birthday, I was sent this package of all this yarn and a bag and all of these other notions and a lotion, and I was so blown away by this package that somebody thought enough of me to send this to me, because going through anxiety and especially depression, I had a very, very strong feeling of worthlessness. I didn't deserve my husband. I didn't deserve my kids. Everything that I have, I don't deserve any of it. Who am I? Why do these people care about me? I'm nothing. So when I got that package from someone that I've never even met, but have only spoken to on occasion a couple of times online and has sent me some things before, that this person sent this package to me. And I didn't ask for it, and I didn't broadcast that it was my birthday, but that this person cared enough to realize that it was my birthday and sent me these things, that maybe I am worth something. We are worth something. So this was one of the yarns in that package, and I know that the name of it is called Yesterday's News, but I can't remember the name of the company that dyed it, so I apologize for that. It's on my Ravelry page, so if you want to know more of the technical details, then you can go to my Ravelry project page and find all my projects. And I try to catalog what I hope is useful information there, although sometimes I go back to try to find useful information and I don't have any. So, anyway. So suffice it to say, I did some math and I made this work for a DK weight. And I used a tubular cast on and bind off because I just liked the edge, because I wanted to. That's it. Because I wanted to. I like the way that it looked. I have the time. Right now, I don't feel like I have this need of make more, produce more, cast on all the things. Well, I want to cast on all the things, but I don't feel like I need to put pressure on myself to finish a whole bunch of stuff so then I can make more stuff. The purpose of my knitting is for me to kind of just slow down and take some string and turn it into something that I feel proud of, that relaxes me, that I can give to somebody. It's kind of has to have a story behind it now. That's, I would say, a big difference between my knitting before getting sick and then going through the journey of healing is, for me, there has to be some kind of story behind the project. And I know that doesn't work for everybody, but that's kind of just what I need right now. After going through depression, I need something to have some kind of internal, intrinsic value to me, because I'm trying to build that back within myself. So I used the yarn that Roz sent me, and I've worn this several times now, and I love it. I did add some kind of tassel fringe here at the bottom, just because I need a little something, like, it's cute on its own and it's fine, but just that little bit of tassel, that really just did it for me. So that's all the finished items that I have for you. I'm going to go into works in progress. The only one I'm not going to show you is my summer Shelly top because I haven't touched that at all. I have it downstairs. It's on the docket to get finished. So I haven't completely abandoned it. It's just that since it's winter, I have some other things that I want to get done first so that I can use them or give them or whatever it is I'm supposed to do with them. The first thing being my Pinguono designed by Stephen West. So I would say I'm probably about halfway done with this, and I just chose like a rainbow of color. Like it's very colorful, but it's not like colorful for me. I'm not afraid of color. And so I'm just kind of playing with it as I go. Now with this, I'm holding Holst Super Soft Double, and I just kind of have a variety of different colors. So it's not the needle size or yarn size recommended in the pattern. I'm kind of just going with the flow. This is my project of, I guess, intuition or carefree, let things happen and unfold as they are. There's nothing really premeditated about this. I kind of just am making decisions as I go. It's not thought out. It's not planned. I am using a US 7 needle to knit it, so it will be a little more fitted just because I don't think I really want something super big and oversized for this. I would want this feels more, because it's going to be so colorful, more of like a statement piece. So I don't know. We'll just see what happens when I work on it. You know, that's kind of my spontaneous project, like just go with spontaneity. And I started that while I was going through all of this, and I kind of started it when I was on one side of the valley, and now that I've gone through the valley, I'm ready to pick it back up on the other side and kind of finish it up. So then I feel like it could almost give me some sense of closure to finish that. Okay, so then the next two projects that I've been working on are new cast-ons that you haven't seen. And I have started another pair of Florin socks. No, Ode to Barbara socks. And this was also part of the yarn that was sent to me. And this doesn't have any nylon in it. It's just 100% merino. And I know sock knitters are going, girl, didn't you learn your lesson the first time when you wore a hole in your other socks? I know. But okay, so here's the deal. The sock yarn that I purchased for my first pair, I knew that was going to go to somebody else. That yarn was never intended to be for me. I knew what I was doing with it. So then I thought, well, I really want to make another pair of these socks, and I want to make a pair of socks for myself to wear to church. I want some socks to praise Jesus in after everything that I've gone through. And I want really cute socks, and I don't care if anyone sees them because I'm making the socks for me. I don't care if it gets a hole in it because I'm making it for me. I'm worth the sock, and I'm going to have it on for maybe 1 or 2 hours and then come home and take them off. So it's okay. It's okay. I can give myself permission to do this, even though I know what the outcome may be. It will be worth it because I know that I enjoyed the pattern. I enjoy the end result. I enjoy how it feels on my foot. And it's okay for me to enjoy all those. So this is also part of me building that worth back up in myself, the trust into myself, to love myself, and just to remind that God's faithful love endures forever, even when we can't see it or feel it. And I know that when I was in the deepest part of the valley, I could not feel God. I could not hear God. I had zero faith, and I did not know if there was a God. And that was the scariest thing for me, because I've been a believer my entire life, and to have my faith completely stripped from my being was terrifying. And I would cry out and beg and plead for God to show me a sign that I could see with my eyes. Show me that you are here with me. Show me, send me something. And every time he did. Every time there was something that would go on throughout the day, whether it was something I saw or something somebody said, I would hear it or see it, and my whole heart and soul would say, here I am. And it was wild. And so that's how I knew that he was faithful and that he was there with me. So, needless to say, I'm not going back to socks and not using the intended fabric that I probably should be using. This could open the door to me buying sock yarn in the future. I'm not necessarily purchasing any yarn right now because it's just not the right time for me to be spending money on that. But I have this yarn up here. I have yarn here. I have yarn in this basket. So there's no lack of want as far as yarn goes. But there will be a lesson in using what I have. There is, hold on. I think it's Proverbs 38. So when I read, I don't know, can you see all the writing on my arm? So when I read my Bible, if I come across something that I really like, I just write it on my arm. I thought I wanted, for a while there, I was like, man, I want a tattoo. After everything that I've gone through, I want a tattoo, and I want it to be Psalms 115, 109, which is, my word is a light for your feet and a lamp for your path. That's the gist of it. Because light has been a huge theme for me going through this. And then I realized I could just use a pen and write on my arm, and then I can change whatever I want. Well, I've had some good reading, so instead of just one thing, I now have a whole bunch. But Proverbs 30, chapter 30, verse 8 talks about, I want neither poverty nor riches, and just let my needs being met satisfy me. And that is hard. Because if I go on Ravelry, or I go on Instagram, or I go on YouTube, and I see people making beautiful things and just lovely yarn and just patterns and all these things that, and then on Instagram, like, people are selling beautiful things. I'm just like, I don't have the money for this right now. This isn't how I can't do this right now. So I have, for a while, I've kind of stepped back from watching as many podcasts as I normally would, because I could just feel the conviction inside of me that's like, oh, this is really tempting me to want to go and buy, and I can't do that right now. So I would turn it off, and I'd be like, you know what, that that podcast is on YouTube, I can always go back to it and watch it later, because I really enjoy the people who are giving the podcast. But the temptation to go out and buy something right now is not healthy for me. And our money just needs to be spent on other things right now. And the same for Ravelry, and the same for Instagram. I'm on Instagram long enough to be like, I wonder what so-and-so's doing. And I might scroll a little bit to see if they're up to anything. And then I'm like, okay, I need to get off of this now and go towards other things. So that was a tangent completely off the road to say, I know this isn't sock yarn, but it is the yarn that I have. And I will make socks from it. And there's a divine purpose for it. And that's the end of that story. The last project that I'm going to show you for today is another half wrap that I have started. This is also going to be gifted. So I am using the linen quill, and I bought it when it was on sale. I feel like I feel the need to have to justify why I bought the linen quill to make the large half wrap, because it's not, for my budget, it's not cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap. And I felt uncomfortable, like I could feel that in my gut, like, I don't think I should do this. But I did it because my love and respect and admiration for the recipient of this is greater than my conviction of Proverbs 38. It is for somebody that means a lot to me and my husband. And okay, so let's talk about gift knitting for a second. This is where I want to go with this. When I think about gift knitting, sometimes I think, oh, well, I know so-and-so, or they're in my family. I want to make something. What can I make really quick and just get it to them? And I've done that, and I still do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then there are some times that there is somebody that you just feel compelled that either it's something you've already made or a project that you're making, that you're just like, I have to give this to this person. There is something in me that says, use the talent that you've been given and the time that you've been given, and prayers of thanksgiving for this person in your life. And I've done that before, where I've had things that I've made in the past that I've loved so much and wanted to wear so much, but had a really strong conviction that this is not meant for me, and I needed to send it to I was like, I know I'm supposed to give this to this person. And it's not like I'm supposed to give it to someone, I'm supposed to give it to this person. Like, this knitted project that I have finished, that I want to wear and I want to keep it for me, it's not for me. It is specifically for this person. It's like I look at the project and I see that person's face in my head, and I'm just like, okay, God, like, I'm supposed to give this to them. I got it. And I want to, I don't know, just really be in tune with that, to make things that follow my convictions and aren't just hurry up and get it made so you can give them something. And that's just where I'm at. That's just my personal feelings on how it is. And there are times where I'm like, oh, well, let me make this really quick and I'll send it to him or whatever. But there are times where I just know, like, and this person knows they're getting something, but I didn't tell them what it was. And I said, be patient with me because the project that I'm going to make for you, it takes a long time for me to make it. So I'm hoping I can get it done in a somewhat reasonable amount of time. I am using a US 4 and making the larger wrap. So the gauge is a little looser. The fabric's a little more, I don't want to say it's squishier, but it's looser. So that is everything that I have going on with my knitting. I will be back the next time that I'm back. I would love to come back every month and chat with you. But I think the wise thing for me to say is I'll be back the next time I'm back and not necessarily put a date on it right yet. So I hope you have a great day. I hope that you are gentle with yourself, that you spend some time to just take care of you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.